Gordon Smart, this is the Evening Show on Radio X, and I'm absolutely thrilled to say that Bastille are here. Dan and Kyle, welcome aboard, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Josh Homme came in the studio once and he said it was like being on the inside of a mint. How would you describe the Radio X studio today? You look quite happy in here.
Yeah, it's quite calming. The mint thing, that's definitely... It's definitely up there, yeah.
Like a mint spaceship.
When bands come in, you spent 5 months in the studio and you've come into another studio. So it's a different studio, but yeah.
It is, yeah, but it's much more fancy than our one. So thanks for having us.
Lads, it's been 2 years since the last album. It's great to have you back. I've got to say a massive thank you because the boss of Radio X is called Devil, and you've basically written his theme tune. That's Devil, Devil, every time it comes on. So you're always going to be looked upon favourably by Radio X forever now. So well done on that. But I've got to ask you about the new music coming back, right? You've had 2 years away, 5 months in the studio.
Yeah.
How you're at the point of releasing the music. What are the feelings running through your blood right now about that? Excitement, trepidation, where are we?
all of the above. I guess it's, sort of having been putting this stuff together, and we're really proud of it and being excited to release it, but obviously
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like Kyle said, very excited to have it out there, but it's that weird period where we've pretty much since we started as a band not really stopped in terms of touring or traveling and recording until the end of last year, where we sort of wrapped up our second album stuff. And just we built a studio in South London and just have been there kind of every day since working on this music, and it's been so much fun, and it's been kind of great just to be in one place for 5 months.
I know sleep in your own bed.
It sounds completely ridiculous, and we sound like totally spoiled, but it's been such a nice thing for us all to be in London and be home for a bit, and to get to make a record and get to stop and that be the only thing we're doing. It was wicked. It was so much fun.
I'm always really interested how bands treat writing an album like that. Do you take it as a 9 to 5, or are you the kind of guys that just have the keys to your own place and just work through the night? Some nights do all-nighters.
A bit of both.
I think on tour you just sort of, where you have a pocket you will utilise, but I guess it's important, especially when you're at home, and especially how long we haven't been at home for, to sort of utilise that time at home, because that eventually will run into sort of the album being made. If you work yourself to the bone and you're not doing anything but writing, then you've got nothing to help you write. Do you know what I mean?
You need to have a life.
Yeah, and I'm a bit of a workaholic, and so it's not work, is it? 'Cause it's music. But whenever we get home, even if we're away for quite a long time, I'll always go into the studio. Yeah, because we run a little record label from there, and I love writing for other people and producing for other people as well. So it's just quite nice to have that sort of constantly going on. I found from my very limited experience that quite a lot of sessions, particularly in the States, will start kind of in the evening and run till 4 or 5 in the morning. I just don't know if that's my experience of those sessions. You then come in the next day and you're like, I think we did something special last night. And you push play and you're like, what are we thinking? So I don't know.
One of the games we like playing here at Radio X is guessing why a title has come about for a song. And there's a famous thing that I heard a guy say in London about: nothing good ever happens after 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? The new single's called Quarter Past Midnight. So is this a song, my guess is, about that magical time where everything happens in the 45 minutes between 1:15 and 1 a.m, or am I wrong?
You're completely right. Where you're wrong is that you're imagining that nights end at 1 a.m. or things go bad. And I guess that the album kind of charts quite a small period of time. It's a kind of nighttime record, and it's about sort of losing yourself in the night and escapism. And this song is just meant to. It's the opening chapter of the record. It's the opening song. It's meant to capture that euphoria, where some people have chosen to go home, and you're like, nah, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the evening. And obviously, I don't know. It's a sort of it's like a view into London and the city at that point in the night, and just trying to capture that sense of that rallying cry of just trying to get all your mates to carry on and go on somewhere else.
That was brand new Bastille on Radio X, 1:15, and I think there might be a story to tell one day about where that album goes from that point onwards. We will find out. Now, lads, something I'm really keen to ask you about. Almost every band we've had in the last however many years have had some kind of 80s influence in their music, but I think you were pretty much in there early doors, weren't you, with all the samples from all things 80s? Yeah. Do you think you're partly responsible for that craze? Do you think you've played your part in it?
I wouldn't take responsibility for anything apart from devaluing the idea of music for all of mankind.
I didn't think you were old enough to be part of the 80s.
We weren't at all. I guess it's appropriated nostalgia, isn't it? And it's I don't know, I think there's something about music that's existed and has almost like had its time before you're, you know, it was always there in the sort of cultural consciousness, and I guess you can't help but absorb it via other people. But yeah, I mean, I'm massively into film as well as music, and so in a kind of nerdy, geeky way, you know, our last album kind of referenced a lot of films. There's always, in our records up till now, there's been quite a lot of kind of pop culture references, and I think probably as a way to sort of use other people's stories and pop culture to deflect from talking about ourselves. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, I hope it's just, I guess for us it sort of was a no-brainer to kind of do that, and except on the last album where we used a lot of film quotes and then had to like legally clear it because we're signed to a record label. So they were like, nah mate, you can't, because we did these mixtapes before our first album, and just liberally nicked stuff off YouTube, and we put them up on the internet for like free download, and just got quite a lot of like letters, cease and desist.
Oh right, yeah.
We got like the maddest people tried to sue us, but you know, we weren't making any money from it, so we sort of kind of got away with it in the end.
It's incredible that now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just about.
It's funny when you see a record label like slowly backing away. What? No, nothing to do with us.
Good on you.
Who's Bastille?
Evening show on Radio X. I'm Gordon Smart, joined by Bastille in studio, Kyle and Dan. Now, gents, I was hoping you'd help me out with my book / Gordon, trying to finish the chain of awkward conversations in the bathroom with famous people that you happen to have. Now, you've been touring for a good few years now. You must have had some awkward conversations, some difficult moments where it's just you and maybe a couple of other people trying to make small talk in the bathroom. Help me out with your / Gordon.
I was at a festival recently. I mean, this basically imagines that I'm famous, which I'm not really, but I was at the urinal doing my thing, and a guy just came up to me and was like, "Oh mate, can I have a selfie?" And I was like, I'm kind of busy. Time and a place, but he really pushed for it. It's kind of weird.
I mean, so did you do it in the end? He agreed?
You know, like the wonderful thing with camera phones is that you can say no and they can still push the old photo button. So
he's got a bemused picture of you somewhere on his phone.
Yeah, in a festival toilet.
Or the old double snip. You know? They're like, oh look, guess who? I'm at Dan from Bastille, but guess, you know, which one?
You alright to stick around?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That is a relief. That is a relief. Don't want you to leave now. More from Bastille on Radio X in just a second. I'm Gordon Smart, this is Radio X, and you're listening to the evening show. Bastille here, Kyle and Dan. We had Frank Turner on recently, and did you know Frank Turner keeps a note of every single gig he's played? And on the last count, I think he was up to 2,157 career gigs.
He's a machine.
Prolific, isn't it?
He's such a machine.
Do you have any idea? Do you have a rough idea of how many gigs you've played as a band?
Say like 35,000 million, probably.
I honestly have no idea. I don't even.
Is there a fan?
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know where to begin on that. And also,
I wish I kept a record of all of them.
Like, kind of what counts as, because you know, right at the beginning when we played to like 2 people in Wrexham and they were both my mates. Like, as in, does that count does it count as a gig? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it counts as a gig.
Yeah, definitely.
We set our stuff up on a stage.
Yeah, fair. Okay, yeah.
And Kyle, if you'd done the driving that day, you'd be carrying that as a gig, mate.
Dan and Woody, the only 2 drivers at that point, had to drive us all the way to Wrexham to play to my mates, and then the other one jumped in and drove us all the way back.
They had a great time though.
Oh no, it was great for me.
A special gig, which leads me to my next question. What's the worst gig Bastille have ever played?
So I used to sort of climb around quite a lot to try and distract myself, and this one time I got there was a really high speaker stack, and I tried to climb up it mid-song, got stuck on my chest with the legs dangling down off the speakers, like a couple of meters up though, and our tour manager had to gesture to him whilst singing, not breaking song. I'd be like, mate, help me out. So he sort of had to shimmy my feet up. It was just, you know, very not cool. Another time I was climbing across a PA again and like grabbed onto the wrong cable, got kind of electrocuted a bit.
That was nice because he kept singing, like, you know, like professional, kept singing.
We were doing this little gig in London somewhere, and I ran into the crowd, ran up some stairs at the back and onto this balcony, and I sort of I wanted to jump over the barrier of the balcony, but as I was doing it I knocked a drink out of
He karate kicked this poor girl's drink over. Was it off the table, out of her hand or something?
I think it was out of her hand, and it landed on the floor. I ignored it, did most of the song from hanging off the balcony, and then as I jumped back over to get back onto the balcony to leave, I like my foot landed on something. I was like, oh, that felt a bit weird. And as I was walking back down the stairs and back to the stage, I was like suddenly aware that I was dragging my foot along. And when I got back onto stage, I looked down, and like basically the glass had gone straight up through the sole of my shoe, through the Converse, and there was like it was kind of bleeding out the bottom of my shoe. Backstage, bandaged it up, took the shoe off, and that was
it was deep. It was like a
horror film.
The glass went way in the foot.
Did like I used we found a towel or something, wrapped it around my foot, then went back on and finished the gig.
Gosh, that's professional. The show must go on.
And then the last
we
were in Alabama playing this festival, this beautiful festival on this beach, and it was like I think our first tour of America, and we played a kind of like mid-afternoon slot. Obviously we were all sort of dressed in black, and very, very pale British guys get up on that stage.
And just a sea of like tanned, like beautiful Americans who are just so used to the sun. It's like it's not even. It's cold if anything. And we were facing the sun. The sun was beaming right down on the stage. And the gig was live on TV as well. The gig was live on TV, so just setting it up in terms of like really cool context, beautiful people, televised. Some pale British guys rock up and start playing some songs, and my sunburn 4 songs in was so bad that our tour manager stopped the gig, walked on stage, and like hosed me down with sunblock. It was pretty much the least cool band moment. Like, as in, there wasn't even time to cool down off stage and do it secretly behind the curtain. He walked onto the middle of the stage as he was stood there, and he just sprayed him down. So, and he was like, mate, I've got to save you somehow.
That's brilliant. Did you adopt a particular position? Did you just embrace it? Or did you just look a bit sheepish?
Just one of the many, many moments in my life where I just want the ground to swallow me whole.
That's sensational stuff. Thanks so much for coming in and sharing your pain and awkwardness and offering bands some inspiration.
Anytime. You're very welcome. Yeah,
you're more than welcome to do that anytime.
If I can be in a band, literally anybody can. So
excellent, lads. Well, look, thanks.